What's going on? You are tuned in to another Six Visions exclusive interview. My name is Sik Saleem, and my guest today, Chad Beloin. How you doing, man?
Not bad, man. You?
Not too bad, brother. Thank you for doing this for me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man.
First of all, I want to start talking about your music, man. Like, you're an artist, you're a singer, right? Give us a little bit of bio about yourself, like a little more in depth.
Oh man, yeah. I've been playing music since I was young. Like I started playing drums at like the age of 2. Uh, I'm wrong on that. I'm wrong on that actually. It was piano at the age of 2, drums at the age of 3, guitar at the age of 5. So I've always had that love for music. I've been singing my entire life, and by the time I was 12, it was like some doors opened up for me. I was able to actually pursue it, and yeah, I've pretty much been doing it ever since. Got 2 records finally out. 2014, I released my debut, and 2017, I released a follow up. And I'm busting my butt in the studio right now working on a third.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. What style of music do you normally pursue?
Uh, Everything really has a huge pop influence, but I play around a little bit. So my last record had some hip hop vibes to it, some R&B going on. The one before it had some country flair to it. Again, a little bit of hip hop. So I try to diversify the style as much as I can to have a little bit of fun with it.
Dope. Now, I listened to some of your music online. I went onto your Spotify. You have a top 5 there that I listened to. So When the Lights Go Out was the first song.
Yes.
And that
Sorry.
no, it's dope. Like, it had me singing, the chorus along with it too. It was catchy. Can you talk a little bit about the influence behind that specific track?
You want me to be real with you?
Absolutely.
I was going for a sex sales kind of thing,
Okay.
and I was like listening to the beat. Robo Drummer is a dope producer. He worked with me with pretty much the entire album, and so when I got that one in, I'm vibing to it. I'm like, I hear something overly pop to this, so I'm like, well, what can I do? What can I do that can get, I guess, sexual in a way?
Hmm.
And I was like, I had it in my head instantly. It was like, when the lights go out, and I'm like, hey, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
So I kept playing with it, and in about, let's say, a couple hours, the whole song came to fruition. And it happened on a night where I set aside an entire night. I was like, I'm going to stay up all night and I'm just going to write songs.
Hmm.
So that was like the whole determination on it. And that one, and there was another one, OMG,
Okay.
were both kind of written in the same night, along with a couple other ones. And yeah, so sadly enough, there's not some overly inspirational story. It was just sadly I needed a song that was catchy. It
Something like
worked though. So
no, it definitely did. It definitely worked. That brings me to the next song actually on there. It's called "Drag Me Down." The title alone,
yes.
it kind of has like an opposite vibe. Then, if you're going for it, do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, so that one does have a story to it.
Hmm.
I spent 6 months writing that song, uh, literally losing my mind writing the song. And it was one of those, again, produced by Robo Drummer. And it was one where I heard the instrumental. I'm like, I need to do something with this. And the hook instantly came to me. It was, you drag me down. And I'm like, okay, so I've got this, I've got this. And I played around with a couple demos, but I could never get the verse right. And so I flipped the script a little bit. I'm like, okay, let's pull from past experience and see if I can maybe try to remember the way I felt during some moments where I had this perception of somebody that gradually my eyes open. I'm like, this isn't the way it actually should be. And so then it came into being a song where I talk about the perspective of a relationship where, you hold the person in such a high regard, high respect, and over the duration of the song, you realize that that's just not the person for you.
Hmm.
And yeah, I wanted it to be as soulful, as emotional as possible. And yeah, 6 months I toiled over
Wow,
that song.
is that the longest you've taken on a song?
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely say that would be the longest. I've got a couple contenders right now that I'm working on that I've been working on for about 4 months at the moment now. So it might get shut down, but that one there it was a different situation though. Right now it's like I'm kind of running on empty lyrically, so I'm taking my time with the record. But with that one there, it was 6 months straight. Like every day, I'd be listening to the beat. Like, what the heck do I want to say with this? Like, how can I word this? How can I present it? So it was definitely Definitely the longest I've ever spent thinking about a song. Like usually I'd get like, a couple hours and be like, all right, not feeling it no more. On to the next one. But that one I was just like, that had to be on the record. It had to make the
There was just
cut.
something about it that caught your ear.
Yeah, it was just like, this is the song. Like this
Yeah.
is, I knew it was going to be what it turned out to be
Hmm.
before it was in existence. And
Right.
yeah, I'm happy I stuck with it.
No, dope. That's. Have you ever had an incident where it's like you spent 6 months on this track, but have there been an incident where something came to you so quick and you just bombed out a song super quickly?
December. December was one from it came out way back in 2013. That was another one where I actually did the production on that one. And as I was producing the song, I was also writing the song. So I got it done in about an hour, and it just came to me so instantly. There was another one I wrote about a year or two ago. Never recorded it, um, and it came to me literally again within the span of maybe a half hour. The whole thing was written out, and the song was called 5 a.m. And coincidentally, I wrote it at 5 a.m. and it worked out. Yeah.
Nice. You mentioned you had two projects out. You're working on a third currently. I noticed on Spotify that one of your projects were, or your singles rather, came out. It says 2013, the date.
December.
It was yeah.
The song December. Yeah, that was from all the way back in 2013.
The next one was 2018. So that 5 year gap in there, were you just working? Were you taking a hiatus from music? What was going on there?
No, so initially what happened was in 2014 the album came out, and I was still kind of new to the whole self-releasing thing, so I actually forgot that I had to keep paying for them to stay active. So the only reason that it shows that Out of This World came out in 2018 is actually because I re-released it in 2018, after I re-released the second album 2017 as well. So
Oh, okay, gotcha.
yeah, so there wasn't there. It was more of a 3 year gap than a 5 year gap.
Okay,
I did take a 5 year gap leading up to that record. I actually wanted to go back to high school, and because I went to college young, I went to college at
right.
15,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, and then I took time off, did the music, and I just wanted to be a kid again for a little bit too. So it was a mix where I kept recording, but I wasn't releasing anything. I wasn't performing. I just kind of kept to my own and lived a little bit.
Right.
Got in a bit of trouble, and
Just being a kid.
yeah, a very mischievous kid,
Let's
very
talk about that a
much.
little bit though. You went to college at 15 years old.
Yeah,
Like
15 years old for IT. Yeah,
for IT. That's
yeah.
crazy. But you didn't finish it. I'm assuming you just kind of like
No,
how
no, I
far
graduated. I
you
graduated. So yeah,
graduated.
for that IT course, it was only a year.
Oh, okay,
Mine was expedited into 6 months.
okay.
So I
So even
started
faster.
college. Yeah, yeah. I think it actually might have been less. It was, what did I start? It was January, I'd say February or March I started. And yeah, June 22nd, I was literally just looking at the certificate. Gosh, I can't talk. Last night, actually, with a girlfriend, we were just looking at it. Yeah, it was June 22nd, 2009 was when I graduated. Yeah, it was crazy. And it was weird too, because I knew nothing about computers at that point in time. Like I knew how to record using the Windows Wave recorder. Like this is way before Windows
Right.
7 even came out, right? You remember the old school kind of gross
Oh
looking
yeah,
one?
yeah, for sure.
That one, yeah. So
Wow.
I would just mess around with that and like do multi loops with it and record using like the direct input.
Hmm.
So they took that as I knew how to use computers, and I'm like, I mean, high school scary, college sounds fun, so I chose the
Yeah.
college option. Yeah,
How was that experience for you though?
there were no girls. It was not what I expected.
You were also
Otherwise, it was
15.
great.
You were also 15. So,
Yeah, but like, think about it. Think about it.
oh, I'm thinking about it. It's great. It's a
I
good.
know
In
they
theory,
might have
it's
had little
great.
sisters. You never know. They might have had little sisters my age. You never know.
That's true.
But
Fair
no,
enough.
it was great. Honestly,
That's
I
such
had
a
a lot of
weird
fun.
comment.
I know. Anyway, only what happens on an interview with me, man.
Fair
It's the
enough.
only way it goes. But yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, it was kind of weird being with a bunch of guys my age now, um, who were learning how to fix computers and not. I don't know. I mean, like I caught on really quickly, so I feel like they had a little bit of a chip sometimes in regards to me. Um, So I was like, catching on quicker, moving on forward quicker. But in the downtime, like every lunch hour, I remember we used to have Far Cry tournaments. We'd LAN party, and we'd obliterate each other. That was fun. So I mean, like it was a mix of fun and awkward at the same time. But yeah, it was really cool. And I've gone back a few times since. Like I definitely have love for college. I love to learn, and yeah, that was definitely a good time.
Are you still in touch with those colleagues from back then?
Only my instructor. Everybody else, no. So one of the guys, I believe he moved back to Alaska. I believe he moved back to Alaska. The other guy was way older. He was close to his 30s. So it was one of those things where like there was no way that we would have kept in contact. Yeah. If we did, then it would have been the police would have gotten involved. Like, what are you doing, man? So yeah, no, no. And I mean that's the thing too. Like we were close, but we weren't that close. Right? It was we hung out, we gamed out, but we didn't like link up on the weekends. Um, but I mean, and at the same time too, I was still doing music, so like I don't know, I had a half investment in making friends with them. I was more interested in getting home and making music with my best friend at the time than going and hanging out with those older guys.
Fair enough. So music has always been something that's been in your life.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like
I've noticed you play a lot of festivals. You perform at a lot of festivals. Is there a festival that has a standout memory for you that something that was really memorable for you?
I've got two.
Yeah.
I've got two. Um, so the Toronto Sweetery Festival. And it's not for it's funny because it's not for like the flair of the events or anything like that. It's because some members of the girlfriend's family came out to watch me perform for the first time. So it was the first time I ever got to perform in front of people who, when they judge me, it really matters. But for the fair answer, it would have been honestly would have been Windsor. Not just from a festival standpoint. I had a lot of fun performing there. The crowd was incredible, but also just how welcoming Windsor was for us. We got invited out to honestly every nightclub in Windsor. We ended up honing in on one. The casino was incredible. Just the whole city was amazing, and it was such a great time to be there. So I'd say Windsor on the Diversity Tour, the last stops of it
Awesome.
was the
That actually
best.
brings me to my next question. Is about the diversity tour. Can you talk a little bit about it and what it was, how you got involved?
Of course, yeah. So the Diversity Tour, this was its third year running, and the goal of the Diversity Tour was or is to bring people of all, I guess, walks of life, all cultures, and to showcase their talents that are from where they're from. Right. So I'm sure you've seen we had, I believe we had, do we have some Spanish dancers
I
in
think
Windsor?
there were Middle Eastern dancers
Okay.
from.
So yeah, right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. We have Bollywood dancing.
Mm.
And I know in Toronto we also had Bollywood dancing, and we had a fashion show, which was a bunch of different styles of fashion from the East, from the West, a little bit of everything kind of mashed up. And then we also had some Spanish dancing. I don't something from Mexico. It was really cool. And then we had like a Chinese group. So it's the ability to bring people of all ages, all ethnicities, cultures together, and let them kind of share the stage for a couple of days. So my involvement, I actually got booked for the second Toronto date, and it was initially supposed to be I show up, I perform, go home, kind of like every other show I've been doing. And I ended up hitting it off really, really well with their MCs. And it got to a point where I ended up staying the entire night. A couple people didn't show up to perform their slots, so I ended up performing a little bit more, did another set, and then another set on top of that, then performing with them. And come the end of the night, we all got to talking, and they're like, "Hey, like you should come out and MC with us as well." And of course, I said yes. And yeah, so I've been working with them ever since. And was it not Windsor? So Windsor, I had no hand in actually organizing, but we actually organized the Brampton and Children Youth Festival that just happened the past couple days or past weekend, and it went actually pretty well, minus the rain. We actually had to shut down early for safety reasons. Like the wind was really really bad. We had a giant tent almost knocked over a vid wall. Yeah, it was not good, not good. But yeah, so it was the first time that the MCs stepped into an organizational role and set up the actual festival. And we treated it as an extension of the diversity tour, but it wasn't. But for us, it was. For us, the diversity tour, it sucked that it came to an end. Again, we didn't want to leave Windsor, but yeah, it kind of just happened out of nowhere. It was like, hey, you want to work with us? Want to come on board? And I'm like, hey, why not? And now I'm involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the diversity tour, do they? How frequently do they travel? How frequently does this tour happen?
So it's once a year, and it's only a few spots. It's a handful of stops. Um, it's kind of a. It does seem like a misleading name because tour does imply like a much more dates. Um, but yeah, for now, he wants to start it off here and then kind of continue to grow it. As I think was yeah, this year was the first year we did Windsor. The tour has never gone to Windsor before, so yeah, the goal is to continue growing it and have it go to more and more cities and eventually across the country. That's what
Nice.
he's thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like me being there. I had to volunteer there to do work, and then when I got there, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. It's a cool turnout. And then I met you, all of you guys backstage. Everyone was super humble. Everyone was super, down to earth, welcoming. So to me, it was like a big welcoming family. You know what I mean? So just being able to experience it all and just see what you guys do on stage was really, really cool and welcoming. So definitely for me, it left a memorable experience for sure. So I'm sure it did with the
Well,
kids
hopefully for
too.
everybody else as well,
No,
man.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, hopefully for sure everyone else too. Um,
We hated those dang bouncy castles.
was that?
Yeah, we hated the bouncy castles.
Why is that?
100%. They're just obnoxious. They suck to set up because we used to set them up, right?
Right.
So we set them up in Markham and we set them up in Toronto. Us, not like we didn't have someone else come in, no
Mm-hmm.
volunteers. It was us doing it, and they're just a nightmare to set up. And they're heavy, and yeah, those things. And we're not friends with those things.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
They're fine when
yeah,
they're blown up and they're ready to go.
yeah. They're fun. I ran up one and fell down on the other side. It was fun. We had a really cool one out in Brampton. It was like roller coasters.
Oh, dope.
And it's one of those again where you climb up, but it was tall, man. Like I'm thinking it was close to 15 feet in the air.
Oh
It went
shit.
up like it was giant, man. Yeah, we
Yeah,
we went all out for that one.
that's crazy.
Didn't get to run on it. I got in an accident, so I wasn't allowed to do anything fun. Yeah,
Yeah. Let's just touch back on your music real quick. You mentioned your producer who produced a couple of your tracks. What was his name again?
Robo drama.
Robo Drama.
Yeah,
Am I saying that right?
yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. That's
Uh,
how I say it. I never get corrected.
all right, fair enough then. Has there been a track where you've produced yourself recently? I know you mentioned you did one earlier, but is there a track that you've recently produced on your own or that you've collabed with a producer on?
Yeah. The last record actually, I produced only one song on it, and it was "You're Not Alone." And it's a song that I actually worked on with Savage Ways. Him and I, we go way, way back. Like we've been friends since we were teenagers. We, I used to be part of a rap duo. I know.
I was gonna
And
touch on that. We'll touch on that.
oh no, well, so he was the other part of said rap duo. And how it used to work and how it still works to this day is, when we get in the studio, it's we start just working. I hit a couple notes, and if we like the notes that have been hit, then we keep going with it, and we just have this weird bond when we get in the studio that magic happens every time. Like even with PG Love, that was another song where we didn't produce that one. I purchased PG Love from a different artist who got it from another producer, so that was a fun acquisition. But yeah, it's just every time, like no matter what we touch, we feed off of one another and end up making just this incredible music. But yeah, "You're Not Alone" was the last song that I fully produced and recorded and put on a record.
Cool. Yeah. So I was gonna say about the whole rap thing because there was a track I'm listening to and I hear him and I'm like, there's a whole other voice that's rapping. I'm like, wait, is that Chad? Is it? And then I'm like,
Wasn't a newer track?
it was the one with Savage Ways. What was it
Oh,
called?
PG Love.
PG Love.
PG Love.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, wait, he's rapping on there. Is it Chad? So it's good to know that you
Yeah.
rap. So what made you want to switch from rap to singing?
Um, Honestly, it's not something so much as switching to it. It's just I'll pull it in every now and then. I think that's something that's very common in pop that people forget about. But like, I mean, the new kids did it in the 80s. The Backstreet Boys have done it in the 90s. Justin Bieber's done it very recently. I've done it for the last, I'd say, 8 years since I started singing on my music. And it's fun to switch it up a little bit. It gives a little bit of a different vibe to it, a different feel. And yeah, it's a different way to express yourself, right? There's the way to express yourself vocally, and then you get to rap, and then you get to create these flows and everything else, these rhyming schemes, and it's a lot of fun. It's a
So
very fun
it's
challenge.
not like a strict rap lane versus singing lane for you. It's kind of just experimenting and doing whatever.
Yeah, I'll pull it in when it feels right. That's what it comes down to. Like if I and again, like I'm never my first choice to rap on a song. I know a bunch of rappers from out west, back home in Saskatchewan, out in Vancouver. Like even on Not For Me, Jay Davis hopped on it. And that was one where I talked to a couple people and I was like, hey, like want to hop on this track and drop some bars. Yeah, so yeah, I had a few other rappers in mind for the rap on it, and everybody was doubting the song. They're like, that's never gonna work. That hook's too short, this and that. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. And it melded really nicely. And I mean, listening back now, actually, I was just listening to it today, awkwardly enough. I remember hearing it. I'm like, yo, that kind of sounds like Ignition from R. Kelly.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so like just before it goes into the rap part for me, I'm like, dang, that's awkward. But and then John's always rapped. Actually, going back to You're Not Alone for a minute, that's the only time John has ever sang on a song. That was his first and only time he's ever actually sang on a song.
Really?
Usually he just raps.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, let's try something different. I want you to sing the hook.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm like, it's simple. It's just, you're not alone. Pick up the phone. Like I said, it's 3 notes. You can do this. He's like, all right, I'll try it. And first take, he did it, and it was awesome. So, I got that vibe where it's like, I imagine the first time 50 Cent ever sang in a studio.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I could do this too. So yeah, that was the first time he ever sang on a track. And it was good to have him delve into my world, because usually, like, I've rapped on tracks. Again, like him and I, we've worked together since we were 16, 17 years old, and we made a mixtape. Oh gosh, and sadly enough, you can still find it. YouTube refuses to take it down, and back when I couldn't rap or write to save my life, not a rap. I couldn't write a rap to save my life at that age, but the production was the fun part. And yeah, we've always fed off each other and try to push ourselves outside of a different boundary. And yeah, try to, I guess, outline the best artists that we can be together. There we go. Yeah.
That makes sense. So, Chad, before we sign off here, tell the people where they can find you on your social medias.
Yeah, Instagram at Chad Beloin Music, Facebook at Chad Beloin Music, Twitter at Chad Beloin Music. Basically everything's at Chad Beloin Music.
Chad Beloin Music. All right. And before we sign off, what's the name of this tape?
The name of this tape?
That rap tape that we can find that's still on YouTube.
Oh, no, you're not getting that out of me.
No?
You're not getting that out of me. Nah, if you look hard enough, you can find it. I promise you. It was called Shadow of Death.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, we
got it out of you.
Yeah, drug infused. We thought we were Illuminati. Oh God, yeah.
The fun
don't
part.
listen to it. Trust me, don't listen to it. It's bad.
listen
I
to
will
his
tell you,
recent stuff before you do.
You can actually hear one song from it on volume on my compilation CD that came out. Yeah, it's called Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right, so we don't gotta dig through it. We have it right
So
here.
you don't have to dig too far to find it. It is on volume. It's buried near the end. It's like track 20 something.
Second last track from the end. So,
What's the last track on that?
Lose
Burn
it
It
all.
Up?
Lose it all.
Oh, Black Theory. He was in that one too. He rapped in that one too. We were gonna be a band. We were gonna have a band. And that song, "Lose It All," was recorded in a garage. And our screamer ended up moving to Fort McMurray, so we never got a chance to finish the song. But it was like a rock group. Yeah, diverse. Got to keep it diverse, man.
Fair enough. I'm gonna like dive into this project now. It's a whole. I love compilation albums. I love hearing how artists just kind of come together and make this whole collab piece. So I'm definitely gonna listen to that one for sure. So
Awesome.
Any last
Let me
words,
know what you
Chad?
Um, New music's on the way, and sorry for rambling a little bit.
No, not at all.
It's interviews, man. It's interviews.
Oh, you're
Keep you
fine.
on your toes. They keep you on your toes. You never know the questions. You
That's the
just know
fun part. That's the fun part, though.
that is the fun part. And this was one of my favorite interviews. I gotta say, this was awesome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. You're just saying that. Get out of here. Um,
No, no, I don't throw that around. I don't throw that around lightly.
I appreciate
So,
that.
of
Well,
course.
you heard it here first. Chad's favorite interview. We'll see you on another tour, hopefully, Chad. Thank you again for doing this, man. Thank you for tuning in.
Man.
My name is Sik Saleem, and we'll see you next time.